Thoughts of home gently passed through her mind as she gazed with a light longing at the planet that used to be, well, home. She was so far away from it, yet so close, but from this distance everything seemed so small. We are but one person in this vast, expansive universe, one grain of sand on a beach that stretches for miles. She placed a delicate hand on the window overlooking her world, her home. The lights of the cities illuminate the surface of the planet facing away from the sun. Her mind traveled far, imagining what a person's life was like, a person she had never met, who had never known her. What was this person doing? Where were they? What was their day-to-day like? Did they think about people they have never known too? Her thoughts carried her away on a journey as her eyes took in the natural beauty of space. Light is the telltale sign of life, and this vast, never-ending universe was filled with them. She pictured herself as someone from the past, and it began to create a life for him in her mind. He was of average height, leaning slightly on the taller side, black hair, lightly tanned skin, and brown eyes. He was sitting at his computer, which by now have been centuries obsolete. He was searching on the internet for pictures that lit his imagination and gave him new perspective on his own creativity. She looked into the distance of space and began to wonder what he would think if someone snapped a picture of her in this moment. What kind of conclusions he would draw. What questions would he have? Could he have guessed how far into the future that this point in time was possible? Would he think about how much of human history he would miss out once he passes away, knowing that his lifespan would not be able to reach this point in the future? How many generations would pass after him, creating even brighter futures for their next of kin? Would he feel small? Would he be discouraged that the moment in time where this picture took place would never be within his grasp? Would he wonder what kind of life this girl in the picture was living? Does he wonder the same thing? What does he think of the generations before him have thought? Would he think that he is lucky being born in the time he is in? Or would he think about how he wishes to be as possibly lucky as the person in the future, overlooking the planet they called home? Will he be lost as a grain of sand on the massive beach that is this universe? She wishes she could talk to him, this man far, far in the past, and tell him, the role you choose to fulfill in this life will bring forth the future. Do not be sad that this life you now live will not get to meet mine. However, you will be born again. You do not know it, but you will live in the future you have created. I know, because long ago, on a planet not too distant from here, I was you. She cared deeply for this man that she never knew. Humanity has come to terms in the realization that the soul passes on into future lives, being born again in the cycle to evolve the human race, to evolve the universe. She once again feels a light tinge of sadness, for she will never get to meet this man. However, overcome with a bittersweet understanding that in order for life to be possible, he must live his life apart from hers, separated by time. The technology of her age far surpassing his, the capability of mankind now far surpassing any possible breakthrough from his time. She decides to live in the moment by appreciating all that has come before her, for it would not be possible if every event in the past had not happened. As her hand still gently rests on the window, her eyes are seeing light years beyond. She shares the same soul as the man who she thought of. He was real. However, she can't remember enough. Did everything turn out okay for him? Her memory of him sitting at his computer was all she had. She hoped he lived a full and happy life. Help me live now, full and happy, old friend. She smiled as she stared out into the bright starlit expanse of space, taking in the realization that every single person has a full life, friends, family, enemies. They all have problems and struggles as deep and intricately challenging as the next person, everyone. She wondered deeply, after his life was far gone and hers was just beginning, would they be able to meet once she passes the torch? She smiled, for she knew they would. Deeply she wished he could see her world, her life, her experience. Her hand on the window was placed out of longing, reaching for something she knew well she could not obtain, the intangible. She accepted all that has happened. She looks forward to living the life she was so graciously given by those who came before her. Her thoughts raced towards the man whose existence had been accompanying her mind, and for a moment she could swear that in the reflection of the window, an arm, light and soft, gently pressed its hand to the exact place where hers resided, as if to say, "I'm with you." The girl dared not move her hand. She wanted this moment to last. After a few moments passed, the hand disappeared. She took her hand off the glass and looked at her open palm. A tear ran down her cheek as she smiled. "Thank you," she whispered. Her hand closed, and she pulled it into her chest as more tears began rolling down her face. What awaits her in the far reaches of the future?